And now, from under the floor panels of the Millennium Falcon, it's the IGN Digigods. Please welcome, won't you, two guys who think the 1977 Star Wars will always be Episode 1, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
Oh, how timely, that Star Wars reference. Bob, who's on board?
Makoto Tukashima.
Yeah. Or
MT.
Yeah, MT.
Yeah, Wade, it's funny you would mention
Star
Wars.
It's timely, right?
Nothing but Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars on Blu-ray.
Which we don't have because Lucasfilm is stingy. And we're still working on it, but we go through this every single time there is something from Lucasfilm. And, Lucasfilm only owns like 5 or 6 films. And, they're like all Star Wars films and I think maybe a couple of other things. But every single time, man, it's like they let 3-4 people review their stuff. They're neurotic. It's like, look, come on. It's a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Are we really going to impact it? They're just so, like Cold War neurotic over there.
Well, what I've heard is that the original trilogy looks great. And I've heard Episode 3 looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
I've heard Episode 1 does not look... Episode 1, which was shot in 35, has been scrubbed of all of its filmic grain.
Why?
Probably because Lucas wants it all to look consistent.
Whatever.
I guess. I don't know why.
Whatever.
That's what I heard. I heard the original trilogy looks great. Episode 3, the one where Darth Vader now yells no at the end.
Yeah.
That looks fantastic.
Well, Episode 6, you mean?
Which one is 6 now?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. No, the original trilogy looks about as good as it's ever going to look.
Yes.
Episode 1, not good because it was shot in 35.
Yeah.
It's been scrubbed with digital noise reduction software.
Boo.
Episode 3.
Well, 3 is the one where he originally screams no, and then they
Yes.
changed Episode 6 so that now he also goes no.
Which is Lucas saying, I really screwed up, so let me make it into like this bookend. It bookends the life of Luke. When he was born, he yelled no, and then when he was died, he yelled no.
I'm going to quote Patton Oswalt. If I could go back in time, I would kill George Lucas with a shovel. I would.
But then you wouldn't get Star Wars.
That's fine. I'm good with that. That would change movie making for the better, really. If there had never been a Star Wars, I think everything would be much better. No tent poles. We'd probably be enduring, The Exorcist Part 12, but
it would have been something else. Something else would have filled that.
Well, like
void.
I said, Exorcist Part 12, we'd be going in a different direction, but.
But look, when you look at the Star Wars 6 trilogy, Star Wars, classic. Mm-hmm. Empire Strikes Back, super classic.
The only film that I really like out of all the Star Wars films.
Return of the Jedi, lame. Phantom Menace, horrible. The Clone
Wars, whatever.
Is fine. And the last one I liked.
It's all right.
It's okay. Sith, I thought was good.
It's okay.
So what we're talking about is 2 classics.
I'd say one classic, one okay film, and then a bunch of crap.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Sorry, George.
Well, let's get on to bigger and better things. We're still going to try and dig up those new Star Wars Blu-rays so that we can pass our judgment on them.
So we can see an hour and a half of deleted footage. There's an hour and a half of deleted footage.
I can only imagine what that deleted footage looks like, considering what wound up on the screen. Hayden Christensen's better performance.
Boy, that guy, he's done nothing.
No.
He's done nothing, and Jake Lloyd, nothing.
Life is a house. Jake Lloyd, come on. It's like Carrie Guffey in Close Encounters.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was so cute.
Toys. Okay, with that reference, let's do we want to do some music or knock out this handful of docs, this giant pile of television?
What I want to talk
about
first, we should do new movies so that we hook the viewer.
Okay.
We hook the listener. Hook the listener. By the way, speaking of listeners, are we doing it? Are we doing this week? We actually
recordings. Yes, we are.
We solicited.
You bet.
Audio recordings of viewer questions, and you guys delivered.
Awesome. Well, 2 people delivered, and we got a few little listener mail things that we'll read as well. But we'll jump into that later on. New movies. Got one right here for martial arts fans. You're going to dig this. David Carradine looking way old in this movie. One of his last performances. But this is Yuen Woo-ping, the great Hong Kong director, back in form with True Legend. Now, Yuen Woo-ping, of course, did the choreography and action directing in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and numerous other films, The Matrix, and he's really most famous for starting Jackie Chan's career as the director of the original Drunken Master back in the 1970s. It was 1978. So, what Yuen Woo-ping has been around a long time, and he's really a legend. He's done a number of classic films, even post-Jackie Chan. Michelle Yeoh shows up in this thing, and he, of course, directed Michelle Yeoh in Wing Chun, which also had Donnie Yen in it. And so, this has got great credentials, and it is called True Legend. It stars Vincent Zhao, Zhu Jun, Andy On, Guo Zhangdong, Jay Shu, and Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh, who is extraordinarily ageless. I don't know how she does it, but she does it somehow. Anyway, this is actually, forget about the plot. It's just terrific action, really well choreographed, really impressive stuff. Andy On, who I'm not that familiar with, is pretty spectacular, and it's just classic old school Shaw Brothers kind of kung fu stuff. It really is. It's a blast, and it's got David Carradine. What can I say? Looks really good on Blu-ray, and there's this bonus music download that you get with the Blu-ray and the DVD. I don't know what the point of that is, but I'll tell you, the Blu-ray is fabulous. The movie is really a whole lot of fun, and if you love this stuff, if you got a yen for Shaw Brothers, dig in.
How old is Run now?
102, is he? That's a good question. While you carry on with that next outstanding film, I'm going to look that up.
Yes, Wade and I are big fans of Danny Boyle. And Danny Boyle, he had an early hit with Shallow Grave, kind of his first film, which I saw actually in Leicester Square in London before it came to the States. But here he really took off with Train Spotting, which is finally on Blu-ray. And Train Spotting is with Ewan McGregor and Johnny Lee Miller and Robert Carlyle, and it is just an energetic and profane and hilarious and wild and trippy look at some English drug addicts. Really,
it's not an easy film.
No, it's not an easy film, especially if you ever picture yourself diving into a toilet. You might actually like it. I don't know. Anyway, the Blu-ray looks great. The movie's in 185, and it's got these big, rich reds and blues, and it's very colorful because the movie it's not an old movie, but it's hardly a big budget film, and it's hardly that new of a film. It's from '96, but still looks great on Blu-ray. Looks absolutely fantastic. There are some extra features, including an audio commentary by Danny Boyle, Andrew McDonald, John Hodge, and Ewan McGregor. Deleted scenes, a retrospective, which is nice, some interviews. And also there's some stuff from Cannes, when it played in Cannes. And it's terrific. It's highly recommended. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely see it. It is about just a bunch of wild kids. It is just pure energy. It is just terrific. And it put Danny Boyle on the map, really, truly on the map, where he has stayed ever since.
The Run Shaw, who, of course, is the last of the four Shaw brothers. The others died in the 70s and 80s.
Steve Shaw?
No, actually, Run D Shaw, Run Mi Shaw, and Run Ji Shaw.
Jog Shaw, Walk Shaw.
Yeah, he
Sprint Shaw.
This November, he will turn 104 years old.
People say, "Oh, he's 104. He's still making movies." He's not making movies.
No, he's not making movies. He's not making anything.
He is expending all of what little energy he has left. He is expending. He's just not dying.
There are all kinds of very strange stories about what he does to maintain his longevity. He has the contaminants of a pig's gallbladder rubbed onto his skin, and then he takes infusions of yak oil and who knows what else, and eats boiled rutabagas infused with
made that up.
Ginseng blood. I don't know, but yeah, there are all kinds of weird stories about what he does. I don't know if it's true. It's funny.
No, it's not true. It's like when people
Could
say
be true.
When people say, "Oh, old lady, you live to be 105. What's your secret?" Well, I have a corned beef sandwich every day and a glass of wine. Okay, that works for you. And it's probably just a coincidence because ultimately it's genetics. Okay,
Yeah,
if I eat a corned
true.
beef sandwich and a glass of red wine, I could die at 46.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So don't look at me like you got it all figured out, because you don't.
No, you don't.
Anyway, Train Spotting's great. And
It's
I'm
terrific.
keeping it. I want it.
Train Spotting. Yes, sir. You know what? There's a number of things coming out now from MGM, and these are all burn to order. What do they call those things? Manufacture on demand. MOD. That's what it is. Got a bunch of these MGM MOD deals. Transfers are okay. Remember, they're all DVD-Rs, so nothing just mind-bogglingly spectacular here. But they're all interesting little kind of cult films that have a certain cachet and a certain niche interest. And so, if you're one of the audiences that's kind of saying, "I wonder where has One Man's Way been all these years?" Well, there you go. It's out now. One Man's Way stars Don Murray as Norman Vincent Peale. If you have no idea who Norman Vincent Peale is, this will mean nothing to you, and I don't have time to explain it. But he was one of those kind of 40s, 50s era minister guys who inspired the nation in some strange way. Anyway, Don Murray, probably don't even know who Don Murray is, so why does it matter? There's a movie here that is so obscure, I'm kind of amazed that they even did this as manufacture on demand. This movie, honestly, I'd be surprised if even Mark. Tell me if you've even ever heard of this. It Rains in My Village. You ever heard of it?
Oh yeah, it's a story about a guy who lives in a village where it rains.
See, you had no idea. This is from 1969. It is a Yugoslavian film, entirely in Serbian, and it's kind of almost like an American tragedy done Eastern European style. This film literally, it was sort of part of the Czech New Wave, except that it's not a Czech film, it's a Yugoslavian film, but it kind of came over here piggybacking on the Czech New Wave, and really the only thing that makes it stand apart is that Annie Girardot is in it, and she was really a terrific actor at the time, but otherwise there's nobody here that really, this is just one of those very odd little foreign language films that somehow...
then stop talking about it. Nobody cares.
Okay. Jules Verne's Master of the World. That's one that everybody should really appreciate. Master of the World was a lot of fun when it was released, directed by William Whitney, who nobody ever heard of, but this is why it's worth watching, because the screenplay by Richard Matheson, the great, wonderful, fabulous, spectacular Richard Matheson, who wrote all the source material for everything from Somewhere in Time to tons of Twilight Zone episodes. Amazing. Oh, even Richard Matheson wrote I Am Legend.
Yes, Twilight Zone. He's a big Twilight Zone guy.
Yeah, so Master of the World is his adaptation of the Jules Verne, basically it's like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, except in the air. And it's not bad. Vincent Price kind of overacts like mad, and Charles Bronson is understated, and they're the only stars in this thing. But, the whole idea is that he's like a crazy man. Basically, it's like Captain Nemo with an airship. That's all you need to know. Tomorrow is Forever. Great performances by Claudette Colbert and Orson Welles. And Orson Welles, who is increasingly starting to look rather old and corpulent. This is Orson Welles just on the verge of becoming what Benny Hill would mock as Orson Buggy. Great music by Max Steiner. Really, really classic. And this is kind of a little bit like the return of Martin Gare-ish. It's kind of got that same vibe, guy comes back for more. Great performance here from Natalie Wood as well. Not a huge part in the film, but really quite good. So, and I'm a sucker for Natalie Wood. Mark,
Yes, sir.
I did not get this film. You're a Mark Ruffalo fan. Please explain to me.
Well, Sympathy for Delicious is
Mark Ruffalo can't direct.
Is about a guy who's just delicious.
Why is it that all the actors we least expect to become directors often become directors? Peter Berg, really? Battleship? Come on.
I don't know what what he did to warrant being able to direct this movie.
I don't either.
But it's kind of confusing, and it's not very well shot, and I don't really necessarily like it. In fact, I don't like it. And it's about a guy in a wheelchair who's a DJ. He's a former DJ, and he winds up in a wheelchair, and he can't be a DJ anymore. He's paralyzed after an accident, and he meets this priest who
I'm
introduced him to the
bored
world
already.
of just I mean, here's the thing: when you're making a movie about
It just feels like indulgent actory movie.
well, I'm telling you, Mark Ruffalo, he's going to make that movie.
Yeah.
He seems like one of those guys who's like, I'm so empathetic as an actor. I'll give the actors all the space they need. Meanwhile, is he telling me a story, or is he just indulging the actors in their worst tendencies? I mean, here you've got a good cast. Orlando Bloom is in it. Laura Linney, Juliette Lewis, Ruffalo's in it too, and Christopher Thornton is the wheelchair guy. And you know what? it's just not that compelling.
We got a straight-to-video thing here, straight-to-DVD deal from the Warner Premiere line, which, that's Warner's direct-to-DVD label. That makes it sound a little bit more sophisticated than just saying these movies are all crap. This is a Cinderella story, Once Upon a Song. This is now becoming kind of a cheeseball B-level straight-to-video franchise, and it's the same crap over and over. It's kind of a tween, updated rock and roll version of Cinderella over and over and over again. It is Warner attempting to cut in on some of that tweener young Disney audience and doing a very bad job of it. The girl who stars in this thing, Lucy Hale, she's cute enough, but, that just makes us sound like dirty old men for me to even say that. So, look, if you have like a 13-year-old daughter, let her watch it. It'll keep her occupied for a couple hours.
Also, on Blu-ray is 40 Days and 40 Nights. This is a romantic comedy from 2002 starring Josh What the Hell Happened to Me Hartnett. What happened to that guy?
I have no
idea.
Over. It really is. He was rumored for 18 seconds to be the new Superman, and then Brandon Routh got the part, and then Josh Hartnett was done. It was done. It was like Pearl Harbor, and then almost Superman, and then it was over.
I feel bad for Brandon Routh because he was good in that movie.
Yeah.
He was good in Superman.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's anyway. Josh Hartnett he undergoes a terrible breakup, and he winds up sleeping around, and then he decides to have no sex for 40 days or 40 nights, and. You see, me not having sex for 40 days and 40 nights, not a problem. No. Somehow, for Josh Hartnett, a big problem.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'd pass on this. Special features include an audio commentary by the director, Michael Lehman. And that's pretty much it. It's lame.
Yeah, all right. VCI, among the fun things that VCI is doing, they have gotten rights to a lot of the old Rank films, the classic British Rank library.
Oh, it's Rank, all right.
Oh, yes, it is. And they're now releasing them as part of the Rank collection. And some of the stuff is just junk. Rank did a lot of crap as well. But you know what? This brilliant, beautiful, wonderful, delightful comedy, Genevieve. This one has been largely forgotten, and it's too bad. And to their credit, they're releasing it not just on DVD, but on Blu-ray. Yay, Blu-ray. Great extras on here, too. There's a thing called Profile of Genevieve, which is kind of just a general kind of recap, reminiscence, look back at the thing. Got some great interviews on here. Really a lot of fun. And Genevieve almost feels like a Disney film in some ways. I mean, the color is very reminiscent of Disney films at the time, and the comedy is very kind of reminiscent. It's really just a wonderful, lively, spirited family comedy, and I highly recommend it. This is from 1953. Looks almost like a film from the 60s, but really a lot of fun, and good cast, too. A lot of these people like Kay Kendall and Kenneth Moore, really good. And then also from the Rank Library, real quickly, we've got The Black Tent. This was directed by Brian Desmond Hurst, and this is, sort of wartime desert melodrama is what it is. It's all about basically takes place in Libya. Just on the very beginning part of World War II. And, Libya was like a big deal in World War II, with Tobruk, and there were a lot of battles that took place in Libya. People don't realize that today's Libya, battles were going on in World War II as well. This is from 1956. It's all right. It's kind of, a standard melodramatic war-era film. And then this is one of the bigger films that the Rank Corporation did back in the days. Frederick March in Christopher Columbus. Not bad, really, actually. All in some ways better than the other two crappy Columbus films that were made not too many years ago when they did the 500th anniversary. We had 1492 and then Columbus, the thing that the Salkinds produced. This one's actually quite nice. It's a nice little period film from 1949, very stylishly made, very nicely shot, and Frederick March makes a very, very good Columbus. So not bad, not great, but a nice little throwback and a nice little forgotten film that has been resurrected. I recommend it.
Wade, do you recommend the 1977 not-so-classic The Hills Have Eyes?
Not really, but I still think that Michael Berryman is one of the coolest, creepy guys ever.
He was in Star Trek V. I think he was one of those guys in Star Trek V, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's like bald, and
Yeah.
he's almost like Marty Feldman's evil
Yes.
twin brother.
Very much so.
Wes Craven was trying to sort of eclipse Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre when he made The Hills Have Eyes. It's about a all-American waspy family that winds up stuck in the desert, and they get attacked by these retarded cannibals. Retarded cannibals, Wade.
That's great. I love it.
And it is absolutely crazy, and the family gets just like shot and disemboweled, and a lot of them just die horribly. But that's Wes Craven. And of course, we're talking 1977 here. Does this look good on Blu-ray? Of course not, because it was low budget in 1977, so it's not going to look great. But, it inspired a sequel, which doesn't mean much, but there you go. And it's not as good as Texas Chainsaw. I think that Craven was obviously trying to one-up Tobe Hooper.
Yep.
But Texas Chainsaw is the classic. So
You know-
I'd pass on Hills Have Eyes unless you really love this sort of stuff.
Michael Berryman just freaks me out, and for that, I would recommend it. Ingmar Bergman made a film called Face to Face with two of his very favorite actors of all time, Liv Ullmann and Erland Josephson, who show up in almost all of his movies. This is 1976, during a particular period in Bergman's career, kind of, post Cries and Whispers and pre-Fanny and Alexander, and around the same time as Scenes from a Marriage. So he's sort of in a certain zone, and it's a very depressing zone. Liv Ullmann plays a psychiatrist who's losing her mind. There's irony for you. This is a gritty, grueling, difficult film, amazingly photographed by Sven Nykvist, who always does great work for Bergman. But here's the thing I don't understand. This demands to be like a Criterion release or some kind of other hoity-toity release. Instead, it's coming out from Olive Films as part of their sub-licensing deal with Paramount. Like Paramount said, yeah, that's crap. We don't really know what to do with that. It's some kind of foreign thing. It's like got a Swedishy language deal going. We're not going to really do anything with that because Transformers is our bag these days. So here you go. You go pick up a few pennies. I don't get it. It's an Ingmar Bergman film, man. Let Criterion run with this or something. I mean, all respect to Olive, it's fine, but there are no extras on here. It's not that great of a transfer. This thing is just screaming to be done right and on Blu-ray. I don't get it.
Maybe Olive offered more money.
I guarantee
For
you
the
they
sub-license.
didn't. I guarantee you they did not. Not a chance.
Yes, Wade? By the way, later on we have audio listener questions.
Yes, we
audio
do.
listener mail.
We sure do.
Which you can send us, by the way, gods@digigods.com. Audio listener mail.
And as long as we're on Swedish films, I'm going to segue to a couple of Criterions. One is My Life as a Dog, also by a Swedish director, Lasse Hallström, who has not directed a decent film since. He came to Hollywood after My Life as a Dog and made a lot of crap. But in 1985, he made his masterpiece with My Life as a Dog, which is now on a Criterion Blu-ray. And it's gorgeous. What can I say? It's absolutely gorgeous. This is one of the most odd and inspiring and heartwarming coming-of-age family dramas you will ever see. And it really is it's like this is when Lasse Hallström was a good filmmaker, firing on all cylinders. There's a great video interview with the has-been director himself. I'm kind of backhanded compliment there, aren't I? And then a few other extras, trailer and the usual booklet, and a little thing here called Shall We Go to My or Your Place or Each Go Home Alone? That's an odd, awkward, long title for a very peculiar film. That's a film that Hallström made in 1973, and I'm not quite sure what I think of it. But anyway, it's on there if you want. And then also out from Criterion, which you got to get, is Three Women, an absolutely terrific Robert Altman film from 1977 that is way, way, way forgotten and underrated. This actually has the previously recorded audio commentary from Altman, who of course is deceased now, and along with lots of amazing gallery of production material and trailers and television spots. It's really, really awesome. And the film itself is terrific. You're going to see an unbelievably young Sissy Spacek in here, along with an unbelievably young and surprisingly attractive Shelley Duvall. Just 3 years before she got chased all over creation by Jack Nicholson. But this is just really, really a fascinating look at women and how they interact and certain family relationships. I won't give anything away, but Three Women, one of the great Robert Altman films, largely forgotten, now on Criterion in a terrific Blu-ray. You got to see it.
Yeah, Wade likes it.
A lot of good stuff this week, man.
Mikey, he likes it.
Friggin' Altman, baby.
Yes. Wade.
From Altman, we go to
Thor.
Oh, well, that's a perfect transition.
Isn't it, though?
If Altman were still alive, he'd be doing a Thor film.
Well, Altman did do Popeye.
Yes, he did.
Which, by the way, I love Popeye.
I think Popeye's great.
I mean, seriously, come on. That thing was so disrespected, so underappreciated. I mean, come on. The production design, the songs, Robin Williams was perfect. Come on.
He really was. He was
Shelley
good.
Duvall was born to play that role.
True.
Ugh, I don't get it.
Yep.
Anyway, Thor. I like Thor.
We both like Thor. We were surprised how much we liked it.
Yeah, you know what? It's sort of in that it's not Superman or Dark Knight or Spider-Man 2, but it's in that very respectable list of B-level comic heroes who wind up being put into a decent movie.
I loved the comic, and I love the fact. What I like about this is they hired the right director. Branagh really brought he understands that the whole Norse mythology mystique to it really is an extra layer, because Thor is not a superhero creation. Thor is an actual mythological figure who was adapted into the comic world in a very peculiar way. I mean, you don't find that a lot. Most comics heroes are originated in their various comic books. Thor is not. So there's all this lore that goes with Thor that you sort of inherit when you turn him into a comic book hero. And so there's a bit of a legacy thing you have to honor. And I thought Branagh did a beautiful job of staying true not just to the comic book, but to this sense that we're going to, we're going to treat this whole Asgard and Norse god thing with a certain degree of respect and acknowledgement. And it's beautifully put together. I mean, the production design of this film is fantastic.
Yeah, it's well cast.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins is the father, and this Aussie guy...
Odin,
this Aussie guy, what's his name? He was very good. Chris Hemsworth. And it's got a great supporting cast. Renee Russo, Kat Dennings, Colm Feore.
Why are all the Studley dudes all Australian? Is that the only place we find real men anymore?
I'll tell you, what happened to Sam Worthington? That guy just dropped off the earth.
No,
he did Avatar, and he did Terminator, and now he's gone.
But he's in the Debt.
Exactly.
With Helen Mirren.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which actually did okay.
It's doing all right.
Video-wise, this is good stuff. I mean, this is it's very colorful and
does not need to be seen in 3D.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is a 3D Blu-ray, a regular Blu-ray, a DVD, and a digital copy.
Yeah.
Which I don't see the need for.
Nope.
No. Did we see Thor in 3D?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yes.
And was that the one where we were taking no, Captain America was the one we were taking
the glasses off, yeah, because it was the shutter thing. No, Thor was, didn't need to be in 3D.
No, Thor, it looks good. It sounds even better. It's got a great soundtrack. There's a bunch of special features, audio commentary, a fun audio commentary with Kenneth Branagh. It's a great commentary. He really gets into the making of the film, what he was thinking about, what he was working towards. A bunch of featurettes, a couple deleted scenes. Actually, there's almost 25 minutes of deleted scenes. So Thor, definitely worth a rental. I would say worth a rental.
Got 4 films here from the amazing Film Movement. We love Film Movement. I was just reading about some of their acquisitions, or one of their acquisitions, actually, at the Toronto Film Festival. I think this is a very smart company. It's kind of the Movie of the Month Club format that they go with, and then they release them to the commercial market soon thereafter. So if you want early access to these cool films, little film festival in your own house, you want to go to filmmovement.com. Terrific stuff. Great independent and foreign films that would otherwise slip through the cracks. The best of this lot is Illegal, which was a big deal at the Cannes Film Festival in 2010. Basically the story of a Russian woman who is an illegal immigrant with her son in Belgium, and the ordeal that they go through as a result. It comes with a terrific short film called Rita by Fabio Grassadonia and Antonia Piazza. That's my way of mutilating someone's Italian names. And then another very good film, If I Want to Whistle, I Whistle, by Florin Serban, a Romanian filmmaker who's a little more dynamic than a lot of other Romanian filmmakers these days. I find that Romanian filmmakers are increasingly getting... There's a few good ones, like 432, but man, some of them are just painful. Anyway, this guy. He's a juvenile delinquent and comes from a really messed up family. And you know what? It's an interesting look at the wasted youth of Eastern Europe in ways that I found both disturbing and compelling. Colors of the Mountain is a nice little film from Colombia, maybe a little bit too nice, but very well photographed. Comes with a terrific short film called The Swimmers from Cuba. It's a little bit too quaint for me, actually, but another nice look at childhood in that kind of South American quaint way that they're increasingly doing to try and make people see them as a more humanistic place. And then another very, very good film, which our good friend Bob Kohler went completely bananas for, called it Pure Grade Art Cinema. Right there on the cover. There's Bob's quote, Pure Grade Art Cinema. I don't know what that means. Bob, please?
It means it is like pure cocaine. It's pure, uncut, undiluted.
Well, what's
by
interesting...
mainstream sensibilities way.
I guess, whatever. What's interesting about this is that the short film and the feature are both by the same filmmaker. I think that's pretty great. He's basically, we're talking about French language films, French and Arabic, but the filmmaker himself, Mamat Saleh Haroun, is from Chad. And, I know a lot of people are thinking, Chad, they have a film industry in Chad? Not really. There's French money that will follow a good filmmaker who may be from Chad. Anyway, the movie in this case is A Screaming Man, and the short film is Expectations. And there are a lot of similar themes to both of them. I won't go too much into detail, but it's suffice to say it's about the hell of actually living in Chad. And the movie itself is about the civil war in Chad. And a lot of people are like, really? There's civil war in Chad? You know what? This thing got a lot of recognition, a lot of festivals. And it's very illuminating because Chad is not that far from Libya, you see. So if you watch this, you might understand a little bit more about the tribal problems in Libya. So educate yourselves, people. Educate yourselves.
Yeah.
That does it for films, Mark. What are we moving on to now?
Well, that's it? That's all we have?
That's it. That's it for movies. New movies. We've got gobs of television here.
You know what? That's a big pile of TV.
Should we go to do a little listener mail and
let's do that.
Yeah, let's do the audio stuff.
Audio listener mail.
Here we go.
You know what? If we were, if Paul Schaefer was here,
yes,
he would write a song.
Yes, he would.
Let's do audio listener mail, Paul.
And then there'd be music. But
audio
we don't.
Listener mail. Yeah.
Hi guys, love the show. This is Lorenzo from Portland, Maine. My question is, will we ever see the Beatles' Let It Be on DVD or Blu-ray? And why haven't we seen it yet? Thanks.
Yeah, that's longtime listener Lorenzo Raffa, who's written some openings for us, too. It's a really good question. Let It Be was a bit of a sensation, not in both good and bad ways when it was released. And the guy whose name escapes me, but the guy who is kind of like the gatekeeper of all things Beatles, he's sort of like he is to the Beatles today what the Colonel was to Elvis, the gatekeeper, the shielder, the protector, the keeper of the flame. This Let It Be was supposed to be released like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's now just sitting around, and they've got a restored version of it. It's been restored. It's like ready to go. It's Blu-ray ready. It's streaming ready, the whole thing. But for whatever reason, they're not going there, I guess because he feels that now they're afraid of any controversy. They're afraid of sullying the reputation of the Beatles or in some way igniting controversy over the reputations of now deceased John Lennon and George Harrison. It's very strange.
I'm also not sure if Let It Be ever even was released on VHS. Have you ever seen Let It Be in any home video format?
It was there's a very early VHS release, which I think you can see like crazy bootlegs for sale on eBay for like hundreds of dollars or whatnot. It's out there. It's floating around. I mean, obviously, there's a thriving black market piracy underground that's making a mint off of it. But I just think it's so strange, this hyper protectiveness that they have with respect to the Beatles' reputation over that movie. It's not like it's that controversial. I don't know what the big deal is. But apparently they think it is.
Well, but here's the thing, though. If you really want it, here's the real deal.
Yeah.
There's a company called Fab Productions.
Yeah.
And Fab Productions, they do illegal bootleg versions of Beatles movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they have released Let It Be on Blu-ray. Now,
Good luck finding it, though.
Huh?
Good luck finding it.
I'm just saying, if you Google Fab, F-A-B, if you Google Fab Productions and Let It Be,
and it ain't going to be the restored version.
I'm saying not. This is not a 4K transfer.
Correct.
This is just the only way you'll ever see it on Blu-ray is to go through these Fab production people.
True.
I'm just saying.
And we got another listener audio mail, Mark, but it's do we want to warn people?
This one's a little it's a little psychotic.
It's a little crazy. Okay, well let's unleash it.
Hey, Mark and Wade, simple question here. Hey, Mark and Wade, simple question here. When is Tarantino's Kill Bill the whole? When is Tarantino's Kill Bill the whole bloody affair coming out as one big beautiful Blu-ray? Bloody affair coming out as one big beautiful Blu-ray. Hey, Mark and Wade, simple question here.
Yeah, that was Mario Mendez using Songify to give us a little track that we could dance to, right? Asking us basically when the Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, is going to come out on Blu-ray. And everyone's been asking that for years now. Obviously, that got caught up in the whole Miramax library changeover when all hell broke loose and Miramax was cut loose from Disney and the Weinsteins were cut loose from Miramax, and then the whole thing went on the chopping block about 2 years after that. And so now you have Ronald Tudor, who is the big grocery chain magnate who has taken over the Miramax library, and we're slowly getting Miramax movies coming out from Lionsgate. Or at least the A-list stuff from Lionsgate, and then Echo Bridge is releasing the B-level stuff, or the stuff they don't think they can make a lot of money at. And I guarantee you at some point now, the much-delayed release of Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, will finally come out. But they've got to sort of get all their ducks in a row, and I just don't think that they're there yet. They want to make quick money right now to pay off the hundreds of millions of dollars that they spent on the library, and I'm not sure that means they want to spend a lot of stuff on doing things new, on like we're going to spend $1 million. No, they want stuff that's already in the bank, stuff that's already transferred, already mastered for high def, and they want to just make a buck off of that, and then we'll start doing new special editions in, who knows, 2-3 years. So I got to be honest with you, I don't see the whole bloody affair coming out for at least another year.
Well, that's a shame.
I could be wrong, but I don't see it.
I think you might be right. I think that the company has other things to worry about than Kill Bill. Although if they wanted to make themselves a pretty penny, they could crap it out. The thing is that if they crap it out in order to make a quick buck, it's really going to piss people off.
It will.
People have been waiting for this thing for so long that now they have an obligation to do it right. They have an obligation to hit a home run with it. And if they're not prepared to hit a home run, then why even do it?
I agree. Well, real quickly, this is what kind of spawned this, our suggesting that maybe people send in some audio questions. We got an email from Walt Dietrich in Las Vegas, who said on a recent episode you talked about His Girl Friday, glossing over it in the assumption that everyone knows it's a fantastic romantic comedy and certainly one of the greats, and one that all others should be held up against. I believe this was in response to the stereotypical romantic comedy of today starring Katherine Heigl. Boo. My suggestion is to have both of you, or to you both, is to have a segment of the show, if not every week, then every couple of weeks, where you name some of your favorites of a particular genre. And he goes on to sort of suggest that maybe we'll have, like action and horror, drama, animated, and that we actually maybe make this a segment on a regular basis. I don't know that we can do this on that regular of a basis, but it's an interesting idea, and certainly to take audio questions. That's what prompted us. We thought, well, that'd be interesting. Why don't people kind of throw audio questions at us, maybe suggestions or questions about movies. I don't know. We'll kind of take your inquiries and your comments at gods@digigods.com and see what direction this pushes us in.
Yeah, if it wasn't for this email, we would not be taking
Thanks, Walt.
audio listener mail. Audio listener mail.
Yeah, nice.
It's got a song.
One other listener mail I wanted to read real quickly. This is from Lauren Meehan. Says, I've really been enjoying recent great films such as Grindhouse, Hobo with a Shotgun, Machete, and Black Dynamite. Are there any other films that you know like these that you know about or can recommend? And what genre would these kinds of films be under? Thank you. The genre would be exploitation films. There are a lot of subgenres of exploitation. They sometimes call them B movies. Blaxploitation, sexploitation, all of that. I would recommend that you go out and you rent a little old documentary called Schlock, The Secret History of American Movies, which I co-produced, which was written and directed by our very dear friend Ray Green, former editor-in-chief of Box Office, and also now a colleague of mine at KPCC. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, no. Ray does a lot of audio documentaries for the Off Ramp series on NPR.
Oh, that I know. I thought you meant he's been joining you on Film Week.
No. He's not joining Film Week. It's Tim and I are on Film Week, but Ray does those Off Ramp documentaries, which is that's where he really excels. And anyway, Schlock is a great primer on that whole genre. As far as recommending, all those films that you mentioned they're sort of like homages and spoofs of the genre rather than the original films. Man, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of these movies.
Oh, come on. You got
Corman films.
Yeah, Across 110th Street. Black Belt Jones.
Yeah, well, those are the blaxploitation things. You could even go to stuff like
Blackenstein,
A Bucket of Blood, and a lot of the Doris Wishman stuff. I mean, on and on and on and on. It's just a gigantic world. But Schlock is a great documentary, and it's a great primer on that world, and kind of gives you a sense of where to start and where to go.
Dolomite.
All right, with that, Mark, shall we dive in?
Dolomite.
So totally Rudy Ray Moore. They had a Rudy Ray Moore little mini festival as part of their blaxploitation festival at the New Art some years ago, and Rudy Ray was there signing all of his swag, and he did an unbelievable 40-minute set of the bluest, rawest material you could possibly imagine. Right there at the New Art before the showing of Dolomite and the Human Tornado, which, by the way, is freaking hilarious. Ernie Hudson, young and skinny.
Which is your favorite Shaft? We have Shaft. Shaft's big score.
No. Shaft in Africa? No.
Shaft in Africa?
No. It's just Shaft, the original.
Awesome.
All right. So shall we dive into television then, Mark?
We should, Wade.
Okay.
Oh, I'm starting?
Yeah, go. Fire. Go. Boom.
You're fired?
Just explode. Shoot fire out your butt. Do whatever it is that you do.
Oh, we have season 3 of Sons of Anarchy. Do you not like this show, Wade?
You know what? I'll tell you. It's okay. It's an interesting idea, but here's what the problem I have with it is that I'm just sick of Ron Perlman. Look, dude, you got to admit.
He was in Drive.
He's the only bad thing in Drive. You've got to admit, he's not good in Drive.
Well, but
he just
why
isn't.
is he not good? He does the thing that he does.
Yeah.
And is he not good, or did Refn steer him in a direction that you did not personally approve of?
I just feel like I think Refn got the best he could out of him, but I just think Perlman he's kind of burned out. And I hate to say that because I loved him before Beauty and the Beast and Hellboy and not, but I don't know. He's just like a stony-faced, ugly old dude.
But he's Hellboy,
I guess.
Anyway, Sons of Anarchy is a kind of a cult thing on FX about a guy who's a new dad, but he's also in a biker band. He's also in a biker gang. We have Katie Seagal, who, for my money, is not the woman on Sons of Anarchy. She's the voice of Leela on Futurama.
Katie Seagal?
Yes, she's the voice of Leela on Futurama.
Okay, all right.
Exactly.
She's still Katie, like Mom Bundy to me, but okay.
Anyway, I really missed the boat on this show. It's okay. You know what I think is refreshing about it, I think people respond to, is that it's a totally different environment for a show.
True.
It's not another cop show.
True.
It's not another sitcom. It's in a totally new environment that kind of feels fresh, a little edgy.
Yeah.
And I think people respond to that. But in terms of the characters I care about, I'm just not feeling it. There
are a lot of comedies on television that just really
No,
seem
there's not.
Okay. They just seem to be reaching. And second season of Community, I don't know. It's is a community college really a great setting for a sitcom? I don't know. Maybe on the face of it, it sounds like it, but. Despite a cast that should be a whole lot better, this thing just seems to like stretch. Like it wants to be like Parks and Recreation. It has a similar vibe, except instead of about public park and
Parks
recreation.
and Recreation funny? We don't like
it's
that
not
show.
that funny. It's not that funny. But this is even less funny. And Chevy Chase, is this where he's going to finish his career? Really?
Well, it's certainly the most high profile thing he's done.
I guess
in a long time.
I guess. I mean, whatever. It is a good cast. Ken Jeong is intermittently funny doing that annoying, Asian stereotypical thing that he does, and you got the guy from The Soup, which used to be a show that you worked on when it was Talk Soup.
When it was Talk Soup with Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the second season, they're still trying to be funny. Maybe they'll work it out in the third season. I'll give them time. Cheers took a few seasons to get going. So.
Speaking of a show that took a while to get going, Criminal Minds did not crack the Nielsen Top 10 until its sixth season,
but at least they stuck with it.
Exactly.
Which I respect.
That's true. Which is now on DVD.
Yep.
Not Blu-ray. You know who directed one of these episodes? Charles Hayde.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Charles Hayde from Hill Street Blues?
Not only do I remember Charles Hayde, I actually know Charles Hayde's daughter.
Why did I bring it up?
Thank you. I mean, I know her sort of secondhand. She's a lovely girl. No, she and my sister-in-law are very good friends. Grew up together.
Anyway, stop name dropping. Criminal Minds. I'm not into it. I'm very happy Joe Mantegna is getting consistent work, although that means
he was Renko. Charles Hayde was Renko on Hill Street Blues.
Hill Street Blues.
Yeah, Renko.
Love that show.
Yeah, Joe Mantegna is great on this show. Seriously, he's really good.
He's awesome in everything he does.
He's just so good.
Although he's got to throttle back on the black hair dye. Nobody believes it.
Yeah, all right.
He's too old to have hair that black.
Police Story was a pretty terrific show back in the day. There was Police Woman and Police Story. I remember that. And Police Story, it was one of those 70s era shows that just kind of decided to go gritty. And I really liked that era. Mannix and Starsky and Hutch and Beretta and Police Story and Hawaii Five-0. It was Kojak. It was a good time. Good time for cop shows. Anyway, this is the first season of Police Story, 21 episodes from the 1973-74 season, and some great guest stars on here. Really good stuff. James Ferrantino, Tony LoBianco, Vic Morrow, Ed Asner, really good stuff. Dean Stockwell even shows up here, Kurt Russell, a young Kurt Russell. You know what? It's a really good show, and here's the reason this show is good. You know who created this show?
Oh, George Washington.
Take another guess.
Abraham Lincoln.
Take another guess.
LBJ.
His first name is Joseph.
What's his last? Wait. Tell me his last name, and then I'll guess.
Wamba.
Hang on. I got it. Glenn Larson.
Pretty close. No, Joseph Wamba created this show, and if you don't know the name, he used to be an LAPD cop, and he wrote The Onion Field.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's why
classic.
It feels right. Didn't last long, but what a great show. So first season finally out.
Speaking of first season, we have the first and, as it turns out, only season of No Ordinary Family. This is an ABC show. Was it an ABC Family show? I don't know what it was. Was this ABC Family?
Yeah, you know what? It was the whole superhero thing. When you try to do like The Incredibles on television crossed with heroes, not working.
I know. And what's funny? You would see the pitch. You see the pitch in the room. Okay, it's like The Incredibles, but it's live action and it stars Michael Chiklis, who is in the Fantastic Four.
Oh, I get it.
I can wrap myself. We can market that.
We can, and because it has Michael Chiklis, we could even go to like have commercial sponsorship by Chiclets, and he could do a.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Canceled. The show is canceled.
Yeah, it was.
I also like the fact that the family's name is the Powells.
Yeah.
What people don't realize in movies, before we move on to The Office and Big Bang Theory,
Yeah.
what people don't realize about movies
Yeah.
is that every character name in a movie
Yeah.
means something.
True.
People aren't just named like John
No.
Flemons for nothing.
No.
There's always like a thing behind it.
Exactly.
Like it says something, like the writer is trying to make a comment.
Precisely.
Now, in No Ordinary Family, the family is called the Powells.
Yeah.
You know why? Because if you take away the two L's, add an R, they have powers. Because they have superpowers. Show's lame.
All right.
I proclaim this show lame.
The Office season 7 on Blu-ray and on DVD. I guess the whole. Does The Office really need to be in high def? It's shot like a documentary that never ends, that never really even makes sense as a documentary, but it's okay. The style kind of works. Everybody's emulating that style. They imitate it endlessly and ad nauseum now, so why not stick with it? But I don't think it really warrants Blu-ray to that extent. There's, obviously it's got a new season starting up, and now James Spader is the foil on the show, and we'll see how that works out. But meanwhile, get yourself some Steve Carell going on with season 7, Blu-ray and DVD. Not a whole lot here that you haven't seen 1,000 times before. Lots of deleted scenes and extended episodes and commentaries. It's the same drill. Same deal.
And stuff and junk. Oh, The Big Bang Theory season 4. Considering that I am a nerd. Mm-hmm. You know what's funny about being in... Here's the thing with nerds, and then we'll talk about The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, if you were a nerd...
Yes.
You were an outcast. I mean, being a nerd was like
true
a social death sentence.
Yes, it was.
It was not cool.
No.
You got beaten up.
Yep.
You were an outcast.
Yep.
You didn't have friends except other nerds.
That's correct.
It was like not a compliment.
Precisely.
Now in 2011, now that the nerds have taken over the earth,
yeah,
it's like cool to be a nerd.
I know, it's kind of weird, right?
It is kind of weird.
Yeah,
And the
feels
coolest
wrong.
nerds on TV are definitely the gentleman from Big Bang Theory. This is like an Emmy-winning show, which just confuses the heck out of me. Although this is also the season where what's her name, Kaylee Cuoco or something. She missed a couple episodes because she broke her leg in a horse riding accident. So they had to write her out of 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm not the biggest fan of this show. I'm just not. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Even though it's sort of my life. But special features include Bare Naked Ladies singing the theme song in a music video. That's whatever. Gag reel, whatever. I just don't find... I just don't get... I just missed... I missed the boat on the show, too. I don't find the actors appealing. I find the jokes on the nose. And I just don't get it.
Well, you know what's actually quite good, and what seems to be hanging around and taking off, is Blue Bloods. We got the first season here. That Tom Selleck, man, he's got another hit show on his hands. Here he plays New York City Police Commissioner Frank Reagan. I think there's a little political wink and a nod there. And this is all about a family of cops. And, or a family that is at least integrated into the justice system. The daughter is, an assistant DA. And anyway, it's I like the fact that they sort of transfer this whole thing to a family dynamic. That makes it interesting. And it's a good cast. It's really well done. Great featurettes here that don't feel like they were pulled from an EPK. And Tom Selleck is a heavyweight guy to hold this down, man. The guy still got it. So I really dig it. Happy this show is still on the air. Blue Bloods.
Wade.
Oh, yes. I know. It's painful, isn't it? The memories?
So many memories. Roseanne, the sitcom, is available once again. Anchor Bay
Do you still have that Kabbalah book that she gave you?
Oh, probably not.
Okay.
She gave me a Kabbalah book, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Oh, my God.
I remember that. I remember when you got it.
What did I say?
You said, why did you give me this?
I remember that. She did give me a Kabbalah book. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what I hate? I hate that I remember so little of my life that when you say, remember when Roseanne gave you a Kabbalah book? It's like, wow, I lived that.
Yeah.
I have no memory of anything.
I know.
I don't even know what I had for breakfast this morning.
Know.
Cereal, by the way.
Right.
Anyway, here's the thing. Anchor Bay Entertainment had released all 9 seasons on DVD.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, Mill Creek is re-releasing them. The big deal with the Mill Creek over the Anchor Bay is that the Mill Creek versions are the uncut original broadcast versions of seasons 1 and 2. The Anchor Bay ones were not. In fact, it's funny because when you look at the packaging for the Mill Creek versions, there is, and not a sticker, it's actually printed on the cover as part of the cover art.
Yeah.
The complete uncut original broadcast edits of all 24 season 2 episodes and 23 season 1 episodes. So I guess if you're a big Roseanne fan, you may want to maybe sell these back to your local record store or get a couple bucks for it and use that to get these on Mill Creek. I mean, they look fine, I guess, whatever, nothing special. There is some bonus material here, but for history, this is definitely the Mill Creek version for history is the better release.
Yes, it is.
Of seasons 1 and 2 of Roseanne.
This week, of course, as we all know, was the 10th anniversary of 9/11, and it still blows my mind that it came around so quickly. 10 years just blew by, and one of the shows that, well, perhaps the only show that sort of was spawned by the aftermath of 9/11 was Rescue Me. Dennis Leary and his partner Peter Tolan created Rescue Me as kind of an attempt to reconcile themselves with the events of 9/11 and to foster some healing and promote dialogue. And, it all centers around a New York firefighter who, is trying to just survive the aftermath of what that did to the firefighting community and especially in his own life. It's been an interesting show. It's a show that's taken some peculiar turns along the way, but which was always original, always different. And now the final 19 episodes from the last 2 years are in one set, the Rescue Me 6th season and the final season. And this comes just shortly after the show actually went right off the air. So they timed this all perfectly right around the 10th anniversary of 9/11, a very dignified way to go out. And I salute them for it. This includes a gag reel and a bunch of other stuff that's all very smartly put together and really a great way to go out. I wish every show was that dignified with their exits. I really do.
Wade, third season of Sanctuary. Sanctuary is not a good show, but it has an interesting history. It's a Canadian show that was originally a web series.
Yeah.
And Sci-Fi decided that they liked this web series and that they were going to pick it up and make a TV show out of it. And gosh darn it, they did. And this is the third season. In the fall, Sanctuary returns for a fourth season. This is one of those shows that just sort of keeps going, and I don't know anybody who talks about it or thinks about it or writes about it or watches it. It is bizarre. It's sort of like that show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That thing's in like season 8 or something. Do you know anybody who watches that show?
There's another season that literally just arrived yesterday. We're going to have to talk about that.
Do you know anybody who watches that show?
No.
Do you know anybody who watches Sanctuary?
No.
How do these shows stay on the air?
I have no idea.
Now, of course, if you're on Sci-Fi, what do you really have to get on Sci-Fi to? You have to get, what, a 2?
Yeah,
3?
something like that.
2, 3, nothing to want to be a hit on Sci-Fi?
Same thing with Ghost Hunters, Season 6, Part 1. See, I squeezed another one in there. That's another Sci-Fi show. Hit series from Sci-Fi, Ghost Hunters. I'm not quite sure why. Anyway, this, gads. This is like CSI for nerds or something. Anyway, that's out there, too. Lots of extras on that one. What else we got there, Mark, for you?
We got that 70s show, also from the good folks at Mill Creek.
Yes.
I never liked that 70s show because it stars Topher Grace and Ashton Kutcher.
You know what else? They also have Season 1 and Season 2 of Third Rock from Mill Creek.
Wait, but also that 70s show, although I don't like Topher Grace and I don't like Ashton Kutcher, they still have the delicious
and you know what?
Kurtwood Smith. Mila Kunis.
And Third Rock also happens to have John Lithgow, who overacts as badly as anybody could possibly overact in the new Planet of the Apes film. And there we go. He was an overactor. I wonder now, were we just deluded that we thought John Lithgow was a good actor? Because he's terrible now. He's really terrible. No, he's bad in the Planet of the Apes film. He's bad.
You hated that movie anyway.
Yeah, I did. I really did. Well, anyway, that's it. That's the show. Email us at gods@digigods.com. Send us your listener mail. Send us your listener voicemail. Send us whatever you want. Ask us questions. Harass us. Bother us. And we'll always be here to be beaten up. We'll see you next week.